Hey everybody, I'm Dr. Oob at Oob Medical, and this is Aden DeWitt, one of our
Hello.
nutritionists. This is our third video in a series of eating in season. The first video was on nutrients and nutrition density as far as eating in season, and then the second one was on how food tastes better when eating in season and tastes worse when eating out of season. And number 3, we're going to talk about the financial benefits, ramifications of eating in season. So Aden, such an interesting topic choice. I like it, but money is real. So tell us, what does eating in season and money have to do with each other?
So eating in season can save you money. Basically, when you think about how certain produce gets to your grocery store, they're coming from all over the country, maybe even out of the country. There are costs that come with that. Taking care of the produce, making sure that it's in the right temperature, and all the travel costs, the gas even, especially now that we have gas inflation.
Oh man, it's bad.
Yeah. So all of that kind of racks up the coins that you have to end up paying for at the grocery store. So if you eat in season, if you eat locally, then you don't have to pay for that.
Yeah, I always kind of think of it as, and I don't know if this is actually true or not, it's just how it works in my mind, is that if certain, say a vegetable or fruit, let's just use blueberries for example, blueberries only ripen and really grow at a certain temperature. Well, as the seasons go by, yes, it's too hot in Texas to grow blueberries, but it's not too hot in Canada. But Canada's a whole lot further from Texas. So the same blueberry, even though it's organic or whatnot, the same blueberry, and if it's close and grown locally, is going to cost less than when it's out of season and it's being grown somewhere that's almost artificial. But blueberries, there's actually, I listened to an NPR segment a long time ago about blueberry farmers or blueberry pickers. Apparently it's kind of a niche thing where these guys are so incredibly thorough at picking blueberries that they go from blueberry farm to blueberry farm. They take their whole family and everything with them.
Wow.
And they migrate throughout the United States and Canada picking these blueberries for everyone.
Wow.
It was incredible. It was an NPR segment. You could hear the blueberries hitting the bucket. And I'm thinking about myself, like how long it would take me to pick blueberries. You can hear handfuls of blueberries hitting the bucket every few seconds. Like, man, those guys have it down.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was way off topic about financial. But yes, your food has a cost to get to your grocery store. If it was not grown locally, they had to ship it, and it's going to cost more. And the further it comes, is the less nutrient dense it is, which means they had to pick it even less ripened. I saw a graphic a long time ago that showed how many things were in between, say, a carrot and you. And we think of just the grocery store, but there's the farmer, then there's the truck to get from the farmer to the warehouse, right? Then the warehouse distributes to the grocery store, and you have to bring it home, then it goes to the fridge. So anyway, just lots of things involved in the financial. So Aden, I'm talking too much. What's your next point in your financial eating season?
Yeah, the other thing to think about is like supply and demand, right? So if a local farmer is growing carrots, for example, during the fall, and he has a lot more abundance of those carrots at that time than he would during a different season, and so there's more supply than there is demand. So he's going to lower that cost, so you can end up stocking up on a lot more food at that time.
So it's actually cheaper to eat in season, and it's more nutrient dense,
and it tastes better. Like, it's
why are we
no-brainer.
not doing this?
Yeah.
It's lost, and I'm guilty of it too. It's lost in us to realize that food grows in certain seasons because we're so used to seeing it at all times in the grocery store. So fight that habit. In one of our previous videos, we talked about going to the farmer's market, because the farmer's market is only going to have what's local and only what's growing in season. So if it's there, chances are it's local and in season. And if it's not, chances are you should probably be avoiding it, not eating it every day during that time of year.
Yeah, and we talked about it in the last video a little bit about how frozen produce still has a lot of nutrients. It still tastes good, but also, if you've noticed, they're also cheaper.
It's cheaper.
Yeah.
And it stays good forever.
Yeah.
So you can buy that big Costco bag of blueberries, and it might take you a month to eat, but that's okay.
Yeah. Preferably organic, just because there's a lot of chemicals. But supply and demand, frozen produce. The other thing is, going to a farmer's market, if you're not used to going to it, can be a little bit nerve-wracking.
It can be. It can be intimidating.
Yeah.
What tips do you have for people going to a farmer's market and scared?
Yeah, well, I would say probably to look it up before going and just see what vendors are there, what they offer, so that way you kind of go in with a plan and know what you're going to get. If you're in the Austin area, we actually just started doing farmers market tours. So you can actually come with us. A nutritionist will be there and will kind of guide you, and you can meet the community and just get to know people and get really yummy food.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that's lost is going to a farmer's market and actually talking about the people or talking with the people that put their hands on your food and actually helped grow it. Brings just a sense of community to us. And so I think one of the first steps in doing anything is always just doing one thing, right? So if you're going to go to a farmer's market, buy one thing. Now, don't go buy the spinning tops or whatever. I mean, like, buy a vegetable, buy a fruit, go there and buy one thing. Even if you feel like it's too expensive, one, that's supporting your community, and two, it's breaking out of the mold of going to the grocery store and getting that same thing over and over again. And if you're nervous about prices, run through your grocery store and take pictures of, say, 5 items that you would buy at the grocery store and the price of those. That way, when you go to the farmer's market, you can see the price comparison. But also remember that even if it costs more at a farmer's market, food is going to have so much more nutrients when it's locally grown and picked at its ripest. And the more nutrient density you eat, the less sick you are. We've proven that. We know that. And so invest in your health now by eating nutrient-dense foods instead of waiting until you have cancer or autoimmune disease or something, and then you're trying to get the nutrient density to get the junk out of you that you've been consuming for years. So yes, it's more expensive to eat organic. Yes, it's more expensive to eat at a farmer's market, but it's an investment in your health and in your future, unless you want to be sick. I know.
Yeah, and then one last point, if you have a green thumb, I don't, and a Dr. Who is probably better.
More of a brownish green.
Yeah, but you can start to kind of get your hands dirty and grow your own food and kind of learn what's in season.
That's so true.
Yeah, you'll have more connection to your food, and you also appreciate your food a lot more.
Yeah. Easiest way to start is just start a little herb garden, whether that's indoors or outdoors. Put a little pot, doesn't take much effort. Basil grows really well, spearmint grows really well. Start something to grow, and then not only grow it, but then eat it. It feels really weird when you take something off of a plant and then eat it, but the grocery store's already doing that for you. So learn, get your hands on your food. And we talked about kids. I don't remember if it was this video or the previous one, but kids love to eat fruits and vegetables that they pick or they grew. And so I kind of tricked my kids when we planted some tomatoes that were not doing that well. I went and put some tomatoes out in the dirt and let them pick the tomatoes, right? And they loved them because they got to pick their own tomatoes.
Awesome.
So don't be afraid to use a little bit of trickiness in getting your kids to eat stuff, because chances are if you can get them to taste something and enjoy it once, they'll eat it again and again. Good. All right. Thank you, Aden. What a wonderful series of Eating in Season. And so like our channel, subscribe to it, keep following us, leave any questions, comments you have, and we'll see you next time.